It's almost a week since the gruesome incident at Lakhimpur Kheri. Four farmers and a journalist were crushed down by a carcade. Others were lynched. Total 8 people were killed. A week later, almost a week later, where does investigation stand? Hello, everyone. I am Arunima. I have been reporting from the ground at Lakhimpur Kheri. And now that Ashish Mishra, the main accused in the case, the son of MOS Home, has presented himself before the police there, the visuals on your screen, Ashish Mishra presenting himself before the police, is the case going to go forward? There has been a lot of questions asked about police deliberately going slow. Farmer lobbies, farmer groups have alleged that because he's a powerful man, because his father is MOS Home, Ministry of Home Affairs is the cadre controlling authority of IPS officers, that is why the police is dragging its heel. On its own part, Uttar Pradesh police officials have said our priority was law and order situation. It was very volatile. Opposition leaders were wanting to go to Lakhimpur Kheri. Farmer groups were not allowing cremation to happen. In that background, priority was to ensure that law and order situation was controlled. And that's why investigation and questioning took time. But as of this moment, 2 accused have been arrested in the case. Ashish Mishra has presented himself, all signs that perhaps he could be taken into custody as well. So we will discuss where investigation stands at the moment. Joining me to discuss that further, a man who knows the Uttar Pradesh police in and out, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh Police, Vikram Singh, is here with me. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. First question to you, sir. This plea that Uttar Pradesh policemen, men and women, took off record, that we were busy controlling the law and order and therefore investigation took time. 6 days later, or at least 5 days later, first arrest made. 6 days later, the main accused presents himself before the police. Crucial time lost in a case of 302 murder.
Arunima, thank you so much for asking me to join your wonderful show. I would say, yes, you are dot on track that, yes, in such high-profile, sensitive cases, they should have put their best foot forward. And they would not have reacted. And I'm sorry to say that, but for the intervention of the Honorable Supreme Court. Now they are putting their act together. But look at the brazenness with which the so-called demonstration is on in Lakhimpur to protest against the interrogation. Arrest has not happened. But I wish they were more proactive and ensured preservation of the scene of crime, preservation of the evidence, and also what they are doing today. If they had done this 4 days ago, they would have emerged as heroes. Today, it is just vestiges of the credibility, the lost credibility, the lost time, and I do hope that no evidence has been compromised. Yes, Arunma, there's a lot that they could have done, but now at least, in another show, I said that those who are demonstrating need to be rounded up, sent to jail appropriately. I do hope you understand by what I mean appropriately. Booked under 332 of the Indian Penal for obstructing government officers and police from their official duties, and booked them and asked who asked you and provoked you to come and protest against the interrogation of the main accused. And this is what I would expect. The UP police, it has a very glorious past. It has sent ministers, their family members, members of parliament, and MLAs to jail earlier. There is no philosophy as in the British law, the king can do no wrong. Anybody who does wrong, jolly well face the consequences of the law.
Law is same for everybody is the message that we often hear, but is it so on the ground? In fact, I was in Lakhimpur Kheri I spoke to various eyewitnesses, survivors, and also tried to piece together all the videos that have now emerged to try and ascertain the timeline of what really happened. This is the ground report that I have for you from Lakhimpur Kheri. Let's take a look at the various videos and eyewitness accounts, and then I will come back to discuss as to what really is happening in this case.
142 seconds of madness. 142 seconds of mayhem. 142 seconds of murder. For the first time since the grisly events of Sunday evening, the truth from Lakhimpur seems to be finally out.
Jaldi se chala lo mixi.
You might have seen snippets of this video on social media and on political channels. But here, for the first time on television, the full, unedited 2-minute 12-second clip. The first thing that hooks you is the visual of this Thar Jeep ramming into protesters from behind. There seems to be no provocation, and the victims are clearly taken by surprise. But Do note the shattered windshield. Had the Jeep already been pelted by stones? What's also important is that in this video, Minister Ajay Mishra's son Ashish is not seen either in the driver or the passenger seat. So was Ashish in either of the two SUVs that trailed the Jeep? Or was he not at the site at all, as he claims? Back to the Jeep, which is registered in Ashish's name. Another 2-second clip sees a local BJP leader getting off the Thar and fleeing. Disturbingly, while he flees, you can see an injured man already under the wheels. Reports say this man is Sumit Jaiswal, and we spoke exclusively to him.
गाड़ी में आशीष मिश्रा जी नहीं थे। खालिस्तान जिंदाबाद के इन्होंने नारे लगाए हैं। अगर मैं भागता नहीं तो ये लोग मुझे जान से मार देते। हाथ में उनके सबके काले झंडे और उसमें जो डंडा लगा उससे पहले प्रहार किए। हाथ मतलब पत्थर थे और जो तलवारें जिससे तलवारों से ये गाड़ी के ऊपर इन्होंने मारे हैं।
आपको कैसे पता चला कि वहाँ ऐसा प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है?
Now hear the other side. Arunima also caught up with 19-year-old Parabjeet Singh, whose friend Lovepreet was crushed at the protest site.
हम लोग वापस आ रहे थे तो पीछे से गाड़ी लड़ी है हम दोनों में, और उसमें जब गाड़ी लड़ी है तो मेरे साथ ही मैं चलता हुआ जा रहा था और वो गाड़ी के नीचे गिर गया। गाड़ी ऊपर चढ़ गई पहली वाली, मैं थोड़ा साइड में गिर गया और पीछे वाली गाड़ी मेरे ऊपर चढ़ गई। काले झंडे दिखा रहे थे, खाली बीजेपी का विरोध कर रहे थे किसान, और कुछ नहीं हो रहा था वहाँ।
But we didn't want a biased perspective. So we spoke to a journalist, also an eyewitness.
गाड़ियाँ काफ़ी तेज गति से आई हैं, वही जो है हम लोगों के ऊपर और जो अन्य जो लोग थे उनको रोनते हुए निकली हैं। हमने अपना बचाव किया है, फिर आगे जाके वो गाड़ी क्षतिग्रस्त हो गई है। जब वो फंस गई है तो भीड़ ने उस गाड़ी पे तोड़फोड़ की। उसके बाद हमने यही पहले सोचा कि अपनी गाड़ी बचाई जाए और अपने को बचाया जाए।
One video, 3 versions. The truth, as they say, is somewhere in the middle. For now though, Lakhimpur still bears the scars of Sunday.
While politics is speaking on the issue of death of 8 people at Lakhimpur Kheri, at ground zero of Tikonia, all that remains are the charred remains of these vehicles which were burned down, overturned. There are some curious onlookers who are still coming here from nearby areas, clicking selfies, recording their small video snippets to be put on social media. Here in the vicinity, if you see, all the houses are shut. We've been attempting to speak to some of the residents here, but no one wants to come out and speak. There is one Thar Jeep which we just showed you, which was burnt down. There's another Fortuner down this road. Again, this was the road on which the farmers were walking. You must have seen those videos on social media. They were walking this road when one video shows a vehicle coming in and hitting them. And at the Maharaja Agrawal school, which could have been the point where the protesters were to gather, some garbage, paper plates, cups, that's all that is left of that unfortunate incident that has happened here. With M. Ansari from Lakhimpur Kheri's ground zero, Tikonia, this is Arunima. So, Mr. Singh, you saw that ground report there, and I do want to point out to you how onlookers are being allowed to really contaminate the scene of crime. Crucial evidence could have been lost because you see there are no guards there. There's no tape there preventing people from getting onto the Thar, getting onto the Fortuner. I will discuss that, but before that, if you saw that first video, I've been told investigators want Ashish Mishra to answer as to whether he was in that vehicle or not. Does it raise, as a former investigator, does it raise a question in your mind that he and his father have come on record to claim that he was not at the scene of the incident, he was in their village, but there is no photo, there's no video, he supposedly gave away prizes, but in the public domain, we have not yet seen any photograph or video establishing his alibi.
Arunima, it is unnatural and unconvincing that you have a mega event and calling the Deputy Chief Minister, having such a big get-together and no photographs and videographic evidence of the wrestling match. It is unconvincing and unnatural, to say the least. And indeed, if he was not there, then where was he? The entire focus was on this dangal. And if he was not there in the dangal, then where was he? The fact of the matter is that your incisive reporting from the scene of occurrence goes to show one or two things, that he was not in the Thar. He may have been some other car. Number two, you said that the farmers who were trampled were taken by surprise. Other things, that the Thar Jeep was secured from inside. All the three are very matters of very great significance and far-reaching consequences, and I do hope that they'll be incorporated in the investigation. One, no photographic, videographic evidence at the dangal, no presence in the Thar, but that does not mean that he has to be present somewhere in between there. You very rightly said that the truth is stranger than fiction. In this case, he will have to give his not minute by minute movement, but second by second every movement. And that is just child's play for a skillful investigator. Go to WhatsApp messages, go to the telephone calls received and made. Rest assured, in second, there are on an average 2 calls a minute, one received, one made. And that will give the location. There is an absolute giveaway. And if Jaiswal or anybody feels that he can go underground, they cannot. And I'm sure by this time, the UP police have a fair idea what was the movement, including time, on the basis of cell ID locations and other GPS tracking mechanism. There is no escape route. If he was there, and yes, Arunima.
So the other question that I wanted to ask you about is that there are counter FIRs. One FIR, Ashish Mishra is the main accused, that is being probed. There is a counter FIR in which Sumit Jaiswal is the main complainant. And if you see, one of the videos actually shows Hariom, the driver, getting beaten with a stick, and we are later told he succumbed to his injury. In the scheme of the law, if the second FIR is probed, the farmer group claims that they were the victims, they are not the aggressors, but the BJP side claims that the farmers were the aggressor. When the cross FIRs are probed, will Uttar Pradesh police be forced to ensure that whoever lynched is also brought to law, or can they get away by claiming that they were victimized, they were agitated because they saw their colleagues, their friends, their family members crushed by the cavalcade?
Arunima, very good question. Their right of private defense, indeed, they were trampled upon and they were subjected to great injury. In fact, there were deaths also because of this grave attack. But my right of private defense by the provision of section 96 to 104 of the Indian Penal Code is only till the time the threat is there. And it should be in proportion, Commissioner, to the threat. If suppose I were to abuse you, you can take recourse. You can't shoot me. You can't batter me to death. If suppose I were to aim a pistol at you, loaded pistol, then you have the recourse to take a shot at me, neutralize me. It depends upon the threat that I pose before you. And then you can take commission not only for yourself, but for anybody who's a threat, that the response and the reply should be commensurate and in proportion to the danger at hand. When the driver has fallen down, there was no grave threat, and you could not have possibly battered. That is much, much beyond the scope of right of private defense. In any riot cases, as in this, there are multiple FIRs. Rest assured, there are likely to be more FIRs. Each FIR will have to be investigated separately on merits and on evidence. Of course, it was the duty of the trampled farmers and their teammates and their friends to neutralize those who attacked them. But battering people to death is much, much beyond the scope of right of private defense, Arunima.
In fact, there are videos where injured men on the BJP side they can be seen bleeding, and they're being asked to implicate the minister or the minister's son. All of that will also have to be probed by the Uttar Pradesh police. Justice and closure will actually come in this case only once both sides are convinced that an impartial investigation has happened, and whoever is responsible either for trampling or for lynching has been brought to Vikram Singh ji. Thank you so much for joining us, sharing your experience. So, viewers, you see there are cross FIRs that have been made. Former DGP of Uttar Pradesh and I have discussed where legally the case stands at the moment. But most importantly, what everybody is asking is, will Ashish Mishra be arrested? Will his father be forced to step down? Because that's the pressure that farmer groups and the opposition is mounting on Uttar Pradesh police, on the BJP. This is a story which is developing. We will come back to you with more details. But thanks for watching for now.